Things continue to spiral out of control for the corrupt Fulton County DA, Fani Willis. You're not going to believe who just showed up to her door. We're going to see how the corruption that's infested this investigation from its very beginning is finally coming to the surface, exposing the whole circus to be the shameless sham it really is, and why none other than Donald J. Trump is coming out as the undisputed winner of it all. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, gang, I've been getting a lot of questions recently about the Mediterranean cruise I've invited all Turley talkers on this summer in August to Spain, France, and Italy. There's still some space left. Obviously, the limited number of cabins we reserved got booked up really fast, but I chatted with my team, and as it turns out, we still have a few slots left. So since Valentine's Day is around the corner, I've asked my team to bring back the early bird pricing for a limited time. So if you've been wanting to come with me on a Mediterranean cruise but haven't locked it down yet, well, guess what? Now you can. And if you sign up before the deadline next week, you'll also get a special dinner with me on the cruise. This cruise is going to be incredible and filled with educational seminars, enlightening excursions, and honestly, just a relaxing time together as courageous patriots celebrating the fall of globalism and the rise of a new conservative age all over the world. You know, a few years ago, I purchased a cruise for my wife for Christmas, and she was absolutely ecstatic. Fellas, I can honestly say this is the perfect thing to get for your lady this Valentine's. But for you singles out there, you could also come by yourself. I'd love to have as many of you come as possible. The early bird pricing is only good until midnight, February 16th. So click on that link below and put a deposit down on one of the few spots remaining. If you go to cruise.turleytalks.com, you can find all the information, including a Q&A. So click on that link below or go to cruise.turleytalks.com. And I can't wait to see you on this amazing trip in August. It really is going from bad to worse for Fulton County DA Fani Willis. Here's the latest from Fox 5 Atlanta.
This is not any type of political witch hunt. This is a quest for the truth.
State Senator Bill Cowser dropped a bombshell as the meeting got underway. The committee chair said he's heard from several whistleblowers who are eager to testify.
There are whistleblowers inside the Fulton County DA's office that are raising complaints and allegations about the misuse of both federal funds and state funds.
Fulton DA Fani Willis has come under fire for having an intimate relationship with Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade. Willis hired Wade to lead the 2020 Trump election interference case.
You lose the confidence of the public in the fairness of our criminal justice system if they think prosecutors are engaging in prosecution so that their lovers can get rich.
Attorneys for several Trump co-defendants want Willis disqualified and the charges dismissed, saying she benefited financially from her relationship with Wade.
I think a political witch hunt or show trial would damage Georgians' faith in both our political and legal system.
Now, the latest bombshell report is that Fani Willis was just visited by the U.S. Marshals Service. They had to hand deliver a House Judiciary Committee subpoena to her personally. The House Judiciary Committee originally sent a subpoena to Willis back on February 2nd for documents related to her accused misuse of federal funds related to her indictment of President Trump. But as it turns out, Willis, in an act of utterly brazen recklessness, refused to accept the subpoena. That refusal caused nothing less than the U.S. Marshals Service to personally show up at her door and basically stick that subpoena right in her face. Now, of course, what both the Georgia legislature and the U.S. Congress are investigating are allegations that Fani Willis has been personally profiting off of her political persecution of Donald Trump. As I'm sure you know, Fani Willis appointed her boy toy subordinate, Nathan Wade, as special prosecutor, even though he's never tried a felony case in his life. But as it turns out, these two are having an affair. She appoints him to a position that he obviously doesn't belong in, but then she starts paying him inordinate sums of money. According to a court filing, Wade got almost $1 million in legal fees since he was appointed prosecutor, which far exceeds any compensation commensurate with that position. Now, of course, that's bad enough, but that's just where things begin. As it turns out, Wade's divorce proceedings revealed that he and Willis were taking all kinds of extravagant, lavish vacation trips to places like Napa Valley, Florida, Royal Caribbean cruises, very lavish excursions ever since Wade got the gig as special prosecutor. So Fani Willis is being investigated both at the state level and the federal level for allegations of misuse of state and federal funds, specifically in terms of how she's been personally profiting off of this witch hunt against President Trump. Now, Willis is on record for denying this. She's admitted to the affair, but according to Wade, the affair started after he was miraculously and coincidentally appointed prosecutor in the case. And Fani Willis herself, under oath, testified that they both separated their expenses for these lavish vacations. They each paid for their own share. She knows that if it could be shown that Wade was paying for her after she secured all that money for him, that would come across as an obvious conflict of interest. Well, that's exactly what the objective evidence shows. The records from Wade's divorce proceedings, Willis's boy toy who's going through the divorce, the records from those divorce proceedings demonstrate that Wade paid thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars in trips for Willis. I mean, we've literally got the receipts. We've got the itineraries. We've got the hotel room bookings and proof of who paid for it. It was all Wade, who was getting upwards of $1 million from Willis as compensation for a prosecutorial position he should never even gotten in the first place, which then leads us to the other problem for Willis. She and Wade maintained they didn't start having an affair until after she appointed him as prosecutor. Obviously, if they had an affair prior to that, it would violate Georgia's rules of professional conduct, which are the state's guidelines for lawyer ethics. Well, again, as if things could not possibly get worse for her. Now there are new filings, including an affidavit by a whistleblower claiming that Willis lied about when that relationship began. The affidavit was signed by none other than Wade's old lawyer, which is highly unusual given the precedent of attorney-client privilege. But his former lawyer has come forward and said that he has evidence, non-privileged personal knowledge, that the affair began before Willis was even sworn into office as DA back in 2021. So needless to say, this whole case against Trump in Georgia's absolutely unraveling right before our very eyes. And already, my namesake, Jonathan Turley, professor of law at George Washington University, he's saying that Trump is basically winning this case in Georgia by a war of attrition. In other words, he's not winning by being exonerated in court. He's winning by the fact that the prosecution appears to be completely unraveling right before his and our eyes, before the case can even get to court. The longer this thing drags out, the more the prosecution begins to fragment and crumble. Trump is winning this both in the court of public opinion, in that the vast majority of the country sees this as nothing more than a witch hunt, blatant lawfare in our unfair, unjust, two-tiered legal system. And he's winning this before it even goes to court, in that the radical corruption inside the DA's office is more and more getting exposed and coming to light. So as it turns out, Fani Willis thought she was going to be the one bringing Donald Trump down, when in the end, it looks like it's Donald Trump who, in point of fact, is bringing her down with her own destructive hubris, leading to her own pathetic demise. But first, gang, as many of you know, we have unfortunately been completely and totally demonetized, which is putting our daily communication with one another at risk like never before. Now, we are actively working on getting this resolved, but as things stand, this channel has, without any warning, been totally and completely demonetized. And as Elon Musk said so powerfully last week, the whole point of these demonetization efforts is to deliberately try to make us patriots feel like we're all alone. They want to sever our relationship with each other and force on us a kind of digital solitary confinement so as to demoralize us and discourage us like never before. But to their horror, it's not working. Over this past week, you have carried this channel like never before. We've had more people than ever make the courageous decision to bypass big tech and join our Insiders Club. We have direct access to one another that can never be interrupted by big tech overlords. Over the last 7 days, we've seen literally thousands of you come to our rescue. And you've done it in 2 ways. You've signed up for our free newsletter and you've officially joined our Insiders Club. Those 2 acts alone are enough for us to collectively stand together and never, ever have our relationship severed. So I'm inviting the rest of you to do the same today, just by clicking on that link below and signing up for our newsletter and joining our Insiders Club. You are guaranteeing that there is nothing that big tech can do to get between us and make us feel like we're in a digital solitary confinement. It's as simple as clicking on the link below right now and opting into our free email newsletter. And once you do that, you can financially support us by joining our Insiders Club. Gang, from the bottom of my heart, I cannot thank you enough for your support during a time like this. You are my heroes, and it will be my mission to express my appreciation for every single one of you each and every week.